OpenAI and ChatGPT CEO Sam Altman is moving full steam ahead with the launch of WorldCoin, an altcoin that sparked a ton of controversy back in 2021 for relying on eyeball scanning technology. We also have Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Deloitte, and others working together to launch the Canton blockchain, a network for financial institutions. Alibaba partnering up with Avalanche, and Tether, the largest stablecoin issuer, confirming they have Bitcoin in their reserves. Put this all together and we have a very interesting market update for you today. So we're going to start things off with what I think is the most important piece of news, and that is that the World app, the first WorldCoin wallet, has officially launched for Android and for iOS. Now, WorldCoin here is a cryptocurrency project co-founded by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, and this wallet supports a beta version of WorldCoin as well as third-party crypto such as Wrapped Ether, Wrapped Bitcoin, USDC, and Maker's DAI stablecoin. So WorldCoin itself is not currently in circulation but will be launched later this year, and users in eligible countries will be able to claim the token on a weekly or monthly basis. Now, interestingly enough, users in the US are not meant to hold the asset. And to me, this doesn't really make a lot of sense because it's called WorldCoin and they're just leaving out one of the biggest economies in the world. The World app and WorldCoin are largely powered by the Ethereum blockchain and related technologies, including ENS usernames and Uniswap, the biggest DEX on Ethereum. The beta relies on Polygon, and it was sort of being, hypothesized that they were going to launch WorldCoin on the Polygon blockchain. However, WorldCoin confirmed that they instead opted to move away from Polygon, who they use for the beta, and have committed to Optimism's superchain ahead of the mainnet launch. So we're going to talk about why I think this is a very big deal for Optimism and why the OP token could be a very big trade in the near future. But first, I do want to kind of talk about WorldCoin itself, as obviously there is a ton of concerns when it comes to this project, mainly the fact that it actually relies on eyeball scanning for your ID. So effectively, if you want to access your WorldCoin wallet and get your weekly airdrop of this token, you have to be willing to scan your eyeball and essentially hand it over to whoever is on the other side of this technology. Now, the project addressed this concern today, noting that World app integrates its World ID product on an optional basis. It said the app does not require any personal information and said users can delete their data instantly, and that keys are self-custodied through users can back up those keys on cloud services. They also hinted at their AI plans, noting it aims to empower individuals in the age of AI. So very dystopian here in terms of this WorldCoin token and vision, and honestly, I see this as more of a net negative than a positive. They like to say here that WorldCoin is designed for everyone. I kind of see it as a way for them to control everyone, and unfortunately, it does look like this is picking up steam, as right now there is more than 1.6 million signups in beta and 500,000 monthly active World app users. The deployment on OP mainnet will expand across and help WorldCoin reach a values-aligned ecosystem of developers and users. So they did confirm here in this blog post that they are going to be committing to Optimism's superchain, and I find this pretty interesting because if we actually take a look here at the top blockchains in terms of total value locked, Arbitrum is the largest Ethereum layer 2 solution, sitting at 2.89 billion in TVL, and Optimism here actually sits in 7th place in terms of all blockchains with 860 mil in TVL. However, we can see here that WorldCoin has gone ahead and committed to Optimism, and this is very similar to Base here, the layer 2 being built by Coinbase. Base is also built on Optimism's open source OP stack, and basically we can see here that a lot of big players are in fact choosing to go with building out on Optimism. Now, taking a look at Optimism here, once again, I think it makes a very interesting case for Optimism being potentially the biggest layer 2 play of the upcoming bull run. Arbitrum, I do think, has a very substantial lead at the moment. However, it looks like with the heavy hitters that are joining the Optimism ecosystem, that this blockchain could see a lot more adoption here at a much more rapid pace. And in fact, we can see that people have begun to call whiff of this news, as Optimism is now up about 8% on the day. And to put things into perspective, it's still actually down on the week overall, a pretty decent amount as well. But ever since the market has been pulling back here, we can see that Optimism has has been pretty much going against the grain for the most part, up a solid 8% here in the past 24 hours from $1.50 per coin and now sitting at $1.63. So about 13 cents profit per token you could have made in the past 24 hours. I'm taking a look here at the full chart, so the all-time chart. We can see here that it got airdropped around the $3 mark. It recently hit $3 here again in, I believe this was actually early 2023, so like January, February of 2023, and since then has pulled back about 50%, currently sitting at $1.60. Now, considering the lows of 50 cents, yes, optimism could go lower, but it is also down about 50% from that all-time high territory, and it would appear that they have a ton of massive partnerships lined up for the future. So WorldCoin is definitely a project that I will be keeping my eye on, and also optimism, as it does appear that a lot of big players are looking to build out on this layer 2 solution. Now, moving into the next piece of news, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Deloitte, and others are looking to launch a new blockchain network together named Canton. So a new blockchain network aiming specifically at financial institutions, the Canton network will be a privacy-enabled interoperable blockchain network aimed at those working with institutional assets, and it will allow the synchronization of financial markets that were previously siloed. So the network will begin testing its capabilities in July, which include extensive privacy controls and the ability to achieve the scale and performance needed by major financial institutions. And some other players here do include BNB Paribas, CBOE Global Markets, Digital Asset, and Paxos. Kathy Clay, Executive Vice President of CBOE Global Markets, one of the partners in the project, said that when leveraged, blockchain technology can potentially unlock new opportunities in the market. And mainly here they are referring to tokenization, so taking real-world assets and tokenizing them on the blockchain to create new market infrastructure and drive efficiency in the trading of products around the globe. Now, hopping into some altcoin news here, I do want to talk about Avalanche, as they have made some very big partnerships as of late. And the most recent one we actually saw here was between Avalanche and Alibaba, who is tapping into Avalanche to really accelerate their cloudverse on the blockchain. So Alibaba Cloud, the digital tech and intelligence division of Alibaba Group, has partnered up with Avalanche, aiming to provide Alibaba clients with a launchpad called Cloudverse, helping businesses customize, launch, and maintain their own metaverse spaces on Avalanche. And the reason they are tapping into Avalanche is for their subnet feature, which is effectively a set of nodes that can be built on top of the layer 1 blockchain. Subnets are application-specific chains that can be customized to fit one's needs on top of a blockchain, and this infrastructure pretty much allows Avalanche to infinitely scale. Now, the more adoption we see for subnets, this is also more bullish for Avalanche, as each subnet requires 2,000 AVAX to be staked for launching this subnet. And the reason this is such a big deal is because it actually diverts traffic away from the main blockchain to create your very own layer 1 or layer 2. This is why we also saw Amazon Web Services tap into Avalanche as well, and the partnership basically intends to make it easier for individuals to launch and manage nodes on Avalanche, while also aiming to give the network more strength and flexibility for developers. So AWS will support Avalanche's infrastructure and decentralized application ecosystem alongside one-click node deployments. And we can hear from the president of Ava Labs, John Wu, who says that they have over 500 applications on the chain and are looking to give them a better experience. It's worth noting here that this is going to be a mutual partnership that will really accelerate the growth of Avalanche. And we saw Wu say here that Avalanche started developing 5 to 6 live subnets, but in the testnet phase, there are over 100 subnets that will be deployed in the next 6 to 12 months at least. And when I go ahead and see that he's talking about having 100 subnets here that are going to be deployed, and then you factor in that each of them have to actually stake 2,000 AVAX, that means that right off the bat, 200,000 AVAX is going to be locked up on these subnets. And the more subnets we get, the more AVAX that is taken out of the float permanently. And that is very bullish in terms of the tokenomics and price appreciation of the AVAX token itself. Now, we also saw another very interesting integration here for Avalanche, and that comes from Circle, the second largest stablecoin in terms of market cap, as they actually built the cross-chain transfer protocol. And this is a permissionless on-chain utility that facilitates USDC transfers between blockchains through native burning and minting. So effectively, let's say that you have Circle on Ethereum and you want to go ahead and move it over to Avalanche. What's going to happen here is that the Circle is going to basically just be burned on the Ethereum side and then sent over to the Avalanche blockchain. And what I think is most interesting here is the fact that they made it live on only 2 blockchains at the moment. The first one being Ethereum as the biggest blockchain, and the second one being Avalanche. So very interesting that they did select Avalanche as pretty much the first one besides Ethereum to go ahead and adopt this CCTP or cross-chain transfer protocol. And this is a big reason that I do think Avalanche is still going to remain a very big layer 1 competitor in the next bull run. Now, to wrap things up, I want to talk about the largest stablecoin provider, Tether, as they announced their Q1 2023 attestation. So they announced a net profit for this quarter of $1.48 billion, leading to a surplus over reserves of $2.44 billion. The report also adds new explicit separate categories for their Bitcoin and gold holdings, representing 2% and 4% of their total reserves respectively. So very big deal here that Tether CEO has gone ahead and actually opted to take profits from the company and put them in gold and Bitcoin at 4% and 2% respectively. Obviously, for me, the Bitcoin one is a much bigger deal. I'm kind of shocked that they don't have more Bitcoin than gold personally, but this is a big company who does obviously have to play it somewhat safer and potentially look at less volatile assets for some of these holdings, but still very bullish to see Tether, the largest stablecoin provider, going ahead and actually allocating to Bitcoin. I suspect that in a couple of years' time, this will be common practice, maybe more than a couple of years, but eventually I think that a lot of big companies are going to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, similar to how MicroStrategy, Tesla, and Block are currently doing at the moment. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. You know what to do. If you made it all the way to the end, you are an absolute champion. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below and claim that champion status. I hope you are all having an amazing Sunday, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.